All right, welcome everyone. We're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we're here for
Banana Fish, episode 8.
All right, last episode we ended up learning a lot about the situation with, the person that they sent after them,
Yeah.
Young, being someone who's a part of the Lee clan, but also one of the actual sons, specifically of the head of the family, and someone that has now blackmailed Shorter. But they also now are all aware of basically what's going on with Banana Fish, and that it's a drug and what it's used for primarily.
VIP assassinations, cool.
Yep. And now they realize how in over their head they are.
Right.
They're on the West Coast, so this means that Eiji could end up being, basically like separated from the group here if there isn't ample reason to keep him around. Given that he does show a lot of desire to stay with the group, it's going to come down to a decision based on his desires and eBay's desires.
And what Shorter does, because he's been told to kidnap Eiji.
Yep.
That's okay.
Yep.
All right.
Which means right now our protagonists are going to kind of spin their wheels until something happens to them.
A bit.
Because a lot of what they have right now is a dead end. It doesn't lead to anywhere else naturally.
Right.
So,
unless they wanted to take the info to a newspaper and be like, here's the files we
they're not
found,
going to do that.
which they're not going to do.
Yeah. No. That's a we're dying, so do
Exactly,
this
yeah.
now.
Yep,
So
nuclear option.
obviously what's in our situation right now is that a lot of the antagonistic forces will push against them in different ways.
Right.
And Max has one in particular that's going to get pushed on.
Because we can't have nice things in this show.
Nope.
If there's ever happiness, it must be squashed for the suffering of the audience. Yep.
And that is the way of things. It is known. So, y'all, without further ado, let's get into this. Oh, shit.
We have your wife.
Yeah.
Shit. Yeah, you guys wouldn't be any good in a firefight.
And now Eiji can get kidnapped. If he's separated from Ash like this, yeah.
Uh-huh.
And I'm trusting you to do that. Yeah.
Shit. Damn.
Wow.
Oh,
wow, Shorter! Oh, man, Shorter!
Alright, now let's go into this amazing OP.
Uh-huh. Shit. They just killed them and left. Yeah. Shit. Oh. Okay.
Gotcha. And because they left, you can't tell if it was actually...
And
wow.
Yeah, just paralyzed him basically. Yeah. Very well played. Did he hear that?
I think so.
No, not eBay.
Oh, gotcha.
Yutlum. Oh, what a good man! Yeah. Come on, Shorter. You gotta survive, though.
Yeah. Saying that after you're this deep in probably isn't going to help.
Oh. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's no way you can realistically protect him now.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh.
Oh, shit.
Shit. Wow.
That's actually...
It looks like, wow, that's ballsy.
I mean, they'll still go after your sister if you do this.
Whoa.
Okay.
Oh my god. Fucking shorter though, let's go!
Yeah, that I didn't see that move coming.
The granny.
Shit.
Whoa.
Wait a minute.
Holy shit.
I love this track.
Damn.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
Eiji?
I mean, yeah, his name was the first thing said immediately after that.
Wait.
Whoa, yeah.
Oh, so we skipped town. Oh, shit.
Oh. Oh.
All right.
Yeah. Damn.
Well. Oh, okay.
Dang, and he's gonna use it to climb the ladder in the family. Yeah, yeah.
Yep.
Oh.
Oh, shit.
Yep. Yep. Crap.
All right.
Oh, shit.
That's what happened with Griff then. Didn't mean to make it.
Yeah. 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 Ah, I don't resent it. It was in the past. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Damn.
Oh! Holy shit. Wow. Okay.
Alright.
Bruh, we know how dangerous you are. Wow. You're the ones. Yeah. Oh no. Okay. I was about to say they might not need Max at all, and he could have just killed him right there.
Oh, okay, and so much for all that.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. Right. A banal story.
Well.
All right. Okay. So this is probably like one of the most like just straightforward Banana Fish episodes we've gotten thus far.
Yeah, like, lots of exposition and world building, questions being answered concretely about what the situation is with Banana Fish, what the situation is with some of the parties involved in this whole debacle, and okay, it's a lot more complicated than we thought. Some of the things are fairly straightforward, like, okay, yeah, government wants to use it for assassinations, cool. It has the added perk of making the target easy
impressionable.
Impressionable beforehand. Yeah. All right, that's an extra layer of terrifying.
Yeah, it's something where they can then set up the reasons why someone like this might have done something dramatic or what have you, or make them just at the very least a perfect weapon that can then be used to do something and then immediately die.
Yep.
Which is, that's really dark and fucked. But all the characters involved now have some reason to want it. Right. Even those among the Lee clan, which is great because the introduction of Yutlung was kind of this like, oh, is he a one-off, assassin kind of, special
rival antagonist?
Yeah. And it's like, okay, he kind of is, but for the rest of the story, he might be a bigger problem for the rest of his family than he is even for our main cast.
Because the enemy of my enemy and all that.
Yeah, because as of right now, what he wants most of all is actually to learn more about Banana Fish so that he can get it and then use it on his family, potentially.
Which makes a lot of sense, because if you're in a situation like that where there is plenty of motivation for infighting, the whole thing of, them murdering his mother aside, right?
Yes. Yes.
It's still something where it would be very hard to pull that off and actually have it work, because you would have to stamp that kind of stuff out. Yeah. Otherwise, the whole organization falls apart, right?
Right, which is fun because now there's actually a perfect scapegoat that he can use, even if it ends up being revealed that Banana Fish was used on one of his brothers. They could just think it's Gulzine then.
Yep. Because, he got greedy and wanted Banana Fish for himself, so, Gulzine ended up using it on him, whatever. Or any of the number of people, like, say, Ash or whoever that's, like, pissed that, say, they ended up betraying him, right?
Sure.
Like, there's all sorts of angles that this could take.
So we now have another angle on this, another team that's effectively formed right now, and also a reason as to why Yutlung could end up being someone that helps them in the future, which is fun, because anytime there's kind of a Mafia-style story where you have, like, gangs and individuals like going about and doing like criminal shit to
personal ambitions and all that.
Try and solve their dreams, goals, ambitions, what have you. Having the allegiances shift is always a fun, dramatic, thing to have happen in stories like this. So Yutlung being one where the main motivation of his is an emotional revenge story is perfect, because that has nothing to do with Ash. It literally has nothing to do with him.
One of my favorite things to have happen in these sorts of stories is for there to be a secondary force that's on the side of the antagonists that has different motivations, right? Because it can generally create a lot of chaos, right? With the protagonists, that can seem more like melodrama, but
which thankfully we don't deal with any of that bullshit with Shorter.
Exactly.
He's like,
Right,
no,
of course.
No, I'm not even going to let them touch you, Eiji.
Yep.
Pulls out a knife. He's like, I'll go right after you.
Yeah.
I don't even care.
And Ash immediately is able to figure out what happened. He's like, oh shit, that's right. Yeah. He's Chinese. His sister is in Chinatown. If they betrayed us, of course, they'd be able to put pressure on her.
They put pressure on him
because
through her,
it's the obvious technique, right?
Yeah.
It's you can't completely like uproot your entire life and the life of everyone you know just because you're going up against a crime organization, right? Like that's especially if it's something that you didn't expect to have happen, right? So,
right.
You're in this situation, shit. But then on top of that, in the third party that is the Lee clan, within that third party, who has a fairly straightforward motivation of, we're helping out Dino, but we also might want to betray Dino. Okay, cool.
Yeah, this gives us at the very least potential leverage on him if it came down to a confrontation. Mm-hmm. But we're learning also, oh shit, Dino might be going for something a lot bigger, and Yutlung is intentionally not telling them all the details on that. Yeah,
and with Yutlung, we don't know what he'll do. We know what his motivations are, but we don't know how that will influence our main cast, right? Because him going up against the Lee clan, theoretically, that could all happen after Ash and everybody have separated from the Lee clan, and then he's like, all right, I got the thing, I got the banana fish, like some sample of it or whatever, he uses it on some of his brothers, and hey, there you go, right? It doesn't have to influence one or the other either way.
And then he sips tea atop their corpses.
Exactly, right, yeah. Or it could be something where, hey, I could do this on my own, but, I could use some help, right? Mm-hmm. Or maybe the Lee clan sticks around more because they get into a battle with Dino's group.
That's what I'm thinking.
And then all of a sudden, he could then join up with Dino and be like, hey, by the way, you want them? I can give them to you. Yeah, right. You want to make it so that this banana fish is delivered perfectly and there's no trace of what killed them or whatever? I got you, dude.
I got you, yep.
Just, give me a little something, and done.
In a lot of ways, Yutlung basically being the snake, here in this setup, the way his character design is set up is very much the long, elegant, narrow kind of...
Right, I think they might have even... That might have even been an analogy used at one point already in the show. I think
it was actually more that I think he was known as like a dragon or something like that.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, and different kind of serpent. Yeah,
another kind of serpent. But yes, the idea that Yutlung being the one who's quiet, patient, trained specifically for this kind of thing.
Yeah, he has some crazy like nerve point stuff to like disable specific senses and paralyze people, and that's terrifying.
That's some hardcore shit right there.
Yeah,
poor eBay had to just watch that. Yeah,
I'm surprised actually that the older brother is so like, oh yeah, I could snap your neck anytime I wanted. Now, granted, Yutlung has probably kept secret the kinds of things he can do because any assassin worth their salt would, but like you're pissing off the assassin.
I think Jacob, I think this is a story about about fucked kinds of abuse situations. Obviously there's abuse, but like there's a difference between verbal abuse and full on physical, sexual, serious abuse.
And
that's something
and psychological too, because like most of the time in the situations with abuse, it's not that the abused can't actually do anything.
Right.
It's that the abuser gets in their head and everything and makes it so that they don't do anything.
Yeah, exactly. Right? So, and that's why I think they've very much basically gone to there's no way he would actually fight back with us. But,
because otherwise he would have done that already.
Yeah, he would have done that already.
We've broken his spirit or whatever.
Right. And that was a long time ago.
Exactly.
Obviously, you don't care about that, do you? It's no, that was a long time ago. It's in the past. I don't resent it at all.
Yeah.
It's okay, cool.
Right.
And then it's the thing of just stewing on it, just being patient and waiting.
The fact that the dude ended up asking him that's not a problem, it almost felt less like an inquiry and more of he's trying to do a power play. But at the same time, if it's not working, you're literally just stoking the flames of revenge.
I don't think he cares. Also, is the idea that when you're that powerful,
you sort of believe your own hype and think you're untouchable. And...
Well, I mean, he is kind of untouchable. He actually probably has had multiple times where he's thought about how he would kill him, and he's
and without something like banana fish, it's not going to work.
It's not going to work, right? Yeah. So he's it's very much that whole thing of where he's holding a thermal detonator. If you just walk into the crime lord's place, you can blow yourself up and kill him,
but you're not going to survive.
Yes, exactly.
Right, yeah.
There's no way you can get out of this alive.
Right.
And that's what I'd say that whole thing is that, yeah, we let you hold guns and knives and nerve isolating little needles or what have you, which, to be fair, actually is not really an assassination tool. That's more of like an abduction tool.
Yeah.
So really,
right.
this
That's
is a
other
thing
kinds of infiltration and stuff.
Yeah, right, exactly. So having this be something where he's like, oh, I'm not scared of this guy because if he does anything, there's 30 guards within 100 feet of this area.
Yeah, that fear of retribution rather than actually thinking you're invincible. Yeah.
Right.
Uh-huh.
And then he's also probably physically just more capable than Lung in any real
If he gets
there.
his hands on his neck, he can still break his neck regardless of what his assassination techniques are. Yeah.
Right. So, okay. Now we've got Alexis Dawson, the older brother of Abraham, the one that has been helping Gulzine, but also the one that basically did not intend to make banana fish, but did not get rid of it because it was a new discovery. Now, I like that this is a very common trope used when the thing is made. You know, Pandora's box is opened. And for some reason,
you don't put the genie back in the bottle.
Yeah. And I think that that's something that is very apropos here, in that there was a point of human error that could have ended the whole story.
Yep.
And it's just a little bit of a moment of curiosity, maybe some hubris, maybe a little bit of just like inner code of like, I don't do that for discoveries because I can handle it, I can control it. You know?
To be fair, that's a fairly simple mistake given the circumstances that he was in at the beginning.
Sure.
The motivation for destroying it was like, yes, the one of their partners or whatever had used it and died, right? But he didn't necessarily have any reason to believe that Abraham would go to those sorts of lengths in order to get it and use it and all of that stuff, right? He could totally have thought it's just a thing of, okay, obviously we're not going to use it, but but like theoretically this could be used to like make other scientific discoveries using this as a basis or something like that.
Yeah,
you know?
for
like,
sure.
Yeah. And then, oh shit, no. Oh,
or
he is that kind of person.
Yeah, or you could use it to study basically the effects of certain types of drugs that, you know, go into, you know, scarier extremes and stuff because it's a subset type of drug like LSD of sorts.
Yep. And he did destroy the actual material, he thought, right?
Right.
It's just that he didn't destroy the research.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then Abraham also had a stash of it.
That he didn't know about, and there you go.
Yeah. The idea, though, that they went from this with a partner dying to then Abraham experimenting with it in soldiers in Afghanistan or Iraq.
That's pretty
or whatever,
fucked.
That is so messed up. The idea that this guy knew exactly what it was going to do to them, and he was experimenting to see maybe the types of things that it could do. It means he was probably testing out the impressionable aspect of the people more so than whether or not they would survive it.
Yeah, and what blows me away is that like with the interactions that we got with him when he was like interacting with Dino and things like that.
Yeah.
Obviously he was concerned about banana fish, right? Because he's the person working on it. But he didn't even give me too much of a vibe of like being like particularly sadistic, and probably because he's not. No. It's not that he was like, oh yes, this will, you know, totally kill these people or whatever.
This is a mature show. No one gets off really that much on this thing. They just don't give a fuck.
Right. And that's truly the most terrifying thing.
Yeah.
Is that he can, you know, from the outside behave pretty much like a normal person that theoretically could be being coerced by Dino or whatever, right? No. He's totally along for the ride. He started this ship, right?
Yeah.
He probably contacted Dino, you know? Like, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Holy shit.
And as far as a way to make it be something where, oh, we have no idea how high this goes and, you know, how this is way bigger than us. Yeah. It's not just, oh, we can use it to get VIPs or whatever. There's actually already a deal with government officials to be like...
in the military,
to be like, oh yeah, we very much want this.
Yeah, in fact, in some level, this is probably the thing that's really messed up here, is that Abraham probably contacted the military before Dino and was like, hey, I would like to try and introduce you to this experiment here. And then they're like, okay, cool. That maybe generated a little bit too much publicity. Can you work with one of our contacts? Yeah, this is actually the thing that's probably really fucked here. Like super, super fucked. Is the idea that right now what we're setting up is that the military, which would be in connection of sorts with the kind of government surveillance that would very much know about Dino already.
Sure.
Because of what he's doing in the other criminal side of things. And they're letting that continue.
Sure, yeah.
Probably on a really fucked way, because it gives them leverage over the politicians who are using those services.
Yeah.
Which means that on some level...
Right, because if they can...
Dino is not even really the big threat here. Dino is probably just another person that the government has a little bit of holdover of, hey, as long as you don't do these things and you keep feeding us info on any VIPs that come through to use your services...
Doesn't bite the hand that feeds him, kind of.
We will keep you in business.
Right. You know, you can blackmail them, and we have a working business relationship with you, so if we need you to put pressure on them or whatever, we can get you to do that.
Well, because then it's ultimately the government blackmailing the politicians, Yeah, which is interesting because then the senator showed up with the military guy.
Yeah.
Which means...
Maybe that was actually how Dino ended up setting up the deal, is it's the, hey, by the way, Senator... one, I have leverage on you. Like, carrot and stick of, if you don't help me set up this deal with the military...
We're not going to spill
We're not going
this
to.
on you.
We're friends, right?
Right.
And, there's good money in it for you and stuff, but this is something that I need to happen, right? And then sets up the deal with the military. Cool. They get that. Like, because how do you get the foot in the...
Exactly.
Because if you contact the wrong person in the military, they're like, wait,
No. I honestly think, actually, the military probably... It doesn't make sense to me that he would go to Dino first, because Dino seems like the most dangerous in terms of doing something.
Right, he just takes it or something.
And just kills him, right?
Right. Theoretically, maybe it's because the thing wasn't entirely completed because he had the material, but he still needed to, like, reverse engineer, like, the formula and stuff.
Right, which is why I think he went to the military, because he would have then had resources provided to him of... Oh, okay. Yeah, we'll get you some dark, CIA level shit where you can just be like, you don't worry.
You're at a black site, do whatever you want.
Yeah, exactly. And then once that's done, then he goes and starts experimenting on soldiers, because at that point, the fact that he would have gotten in to the war zone as a soldier, cool, okay. But then had these experiments happened, I almost feel like they would have caught him and then been like, oh, okay, you're going to come work for us now.
At some point, the military signed off on it. Whether it was knowing about it beforehand or they're doing the deal and then it's like, wait, you started doing what experiments? You know?
And I would think they would have signed off of it as quickly as possible.
I think so, too. Yeah. Uh-huh.
Oh, my God. Okay, but this is way bigger than, like... anything they could have prepped for. We kind of knew where this was going in general.
Right.
But now knowing the hypnosis and suggestibility side of things here means there's a lot more terrifying aspects of what this threat is. And they're headed back to New York.
Right.
Because they've been watching the house and waiting for Alexis to show up, because he would be the last piece of their puzzle that they would need to be brought into the light here.
Yeah, it made total sense that they would just be like,
competent
villains. It's like, this is great.
This is really cool. Yeah. Now, obviously, there's that slight bit of plot armor that we can feel for, Ash and Eiji.
Sure.
But it doesn't have to last forever.
Nope.
That's the thing. Like, a lot of what this show has been setting up is that no one is safe.
Right.
And while there is a lot of, we kidnap this character over and over and over again.
How are they not dead yet if the antagonists want them dead or whatever done with them?
Dino never actually has gotten his hands again on Ash or Eiji.
Right.
That happened in the very beginning of the show, and since then, they've been constantly dodging him, even though they've been getting caught or grabbed or manipulated. Like, if anything, Ash came the closest to actually putting his hands on Dino. On Dino.
Yeah.
With, popping him with a
gun
shots.
from the top of a van. Yeah.
So,
truck.
All right. Okay. Max is okay. I'm really glad he's okay. I'm really glad Max's family is okay. The fact that they didn't kill them, I think, was a really cool, like, little thing of being like, hey guys, this show isn't cruel for the sake of being cruel. Obviously, these characters don't need to kill them because they're just using them to maneuver Ash away from Eiji.
Right.
It's really smart. It's very simple. And the second the phone was hung up on, they probably ditched.
Right. Bodies are expensive. Like it's, yeah.
I mean, to be fair, it starts the same kind of investigation, basically, whether or not they were alive or dead, because they gave descriptions and everything. And
and breaking and entering and assaults very much did happen. So
yes, exactly. So, that hopefully something happens there.
Right.
But given that this is not a story about families surviving,
exactly
that kind of stuff.
Yeah, we're not going to see
they're going to be okay and move on,
right?
And that Max will eventually find his way back to them. Maybe.
And that hopefully they have had a lot of therapy, in that amount of time, since then. But
any time that Ash gets one-on-one time with a character that's like not one of the adults, like Eiji, for instance, or Max's little boy Michael. Yeah, I really feel like there's something powerful that he's tapping into because he was robbed of a normal childhood.
Right.
And that's something that I love to see more of, because it feels like he's aware of it, and thus he has a very, very empathic, sensitive nature at communicating in such a way that, like, kids or young people, just in general, like basically anyone, Shorter's age or younger, basically, can really resonate with. And that's what makes him a good leader, too.
Exactly. That's what I was going to say, is that having Ash have a gang at the beginning, it's like, okay, cool, rule of cool, and he's a very good shot and things like that,
he's
right?
Smart.
So yeah, he's smart.
He's lived this.
He's good at fighting. Okay, so there's those reasons why it's like, yes, he would rise to the top of a gang that he was in, but to command the charisma to basically say, we are going to see ourselves as peers with the mafia,
right?
That takes a special kind of sauce, right? And in these moments we get to see that, which is really cool,
right? Because it's not something that's discriminatory. It's very much something that he brings out to anyone that he's in contact with.
And it's like, okay, I see this person being that kind of leader. Yeah,
which is probably why, even on some fucked twisted level, Dino actually really, really wants him around. It's not some well, I mean, it is, but it's not just the creepy pedophilic kind of thing.
It's also because, hey, I would legit love to have you in my organization, and not just as a sex
and maybe
slave.
An eventual replacement. Yeah,
sure. Yeah.
I think Dino's the kind of character who's already thinking about legacy, and having someone that he
there is something there is a kind of fucked logic to it of like, yes, I
broke him.
Right.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, that's a good word for it, because it's very much like you deal with like an animal that you're
horse,
training, like a horse or something.
I just can't wait for us to have the groups all come together and then shit to go wild, because I feel like once everyone gets back to New York, once we get all the players in moving here, things are going to get really wild, because I also want to get the cops in New York back into the swing of things here as well. And there's a lot of ways in which they can then bring the gangs into this, and then this will be just all out war, conflict, and oh boy, that's gonna be nuts. I put probably Max into a little bit of a safe zone for now, because he survived the point where I thought he would die.
That is where his death would be most tragic. So,
well, I think for now he's safe, basically. Yeah. But I'm now really worried about eBay.
Yeah, eBay I thought for sure was gonna die.
Oh really? I think eBay's gonna die next. If anyone's gonna die next, it's eBay. And I think that Max's moment where he probably would have died would have been literally when they picked him up right here of, boss didn't say anything about you. Pop, and just shoots him. And it's just it's over.
Yeah, less variables. Right. Yep. Less baggage, less people that are good at fighting that could theoretically try and resist or something like that.
Right. And they already they already put the leverage on him with the stuff with his family. And that was the way I thought that they were going to kick us in the dick, was basically that, no, we're not going to kill the wife and kid. No, but they're going to end up husbandless and fatherless.
Right. They can cry over your corpse, right? Because if they're already burning a building, what does it matter if you leave a body in there? I
mean, dental, I guess.
Right, but
and maybe because Max is a soldier, there might be some, I don't know.
We saw how that got handled. With
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Never mind. Forget that. Yeah.
America taking care of their veterans? What are you talking about?
What are you talking about? The mental health crisis?
That's
Jesus.
a good
Yeah.
joke.
Oh, God. But yeah, all right. Y'all, thank you so much for watching this episode's reaction and discussion. If you want to see the next episode's reaction and discussion right now, though, go check out the link in the description below for our Patreon. You can get an early access there. You can watch full-length timer reactions there, and all this comes with Discord access, so you can chat with us in the community there about this show, about anime in general, and also be sure to check out our Twitch channel.
We stream every weekday. The info's in the description.
Yeah, so if any of that interests you, we'll see you there. But until then, we're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we'll see you all
next time.